Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you resonate with the title and or the thumbnail, this is the perfect reading for you. Delivered at the perfect time, courtesy of the universe through the language of synchronicity. This is a general or collective reading, so be aware parts of it may or may not resonate. Take what works for you, leave the rest. And also, this is timely, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? All right, we do have an interesting reading coming up here, I think. We have the Lovers, which is the underlying energy for the entire reading. The Lovers is someone that, like a divine partner that God has appointed. This energy is usually this represents a couple that have not met before, or if you have not been in an intimate relationship in the past. So the sun represents God's energy, saying that this is someone being sent to you. Now, in the old days, the Lover's card would represent choice of all people you're with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner. It could be someone coming into your life that, or, that someone that you choose to have in your life. Generally, this card was talking about choices. So this could be maybe a partnership in business or something to that nature. But most of the time it does represent romantic love. Now we do have the Death card, which is talking about a transition coming through. And the transition, we have an energy of this Grim Reaper is coming into town. The Grim Reaper represents an end of a cycle and the beginning or rebirth of a new one. This older person is saying, we don't want your change, and he's bartering with the Grim Reaper. What can we do? What can we give you so that you don't come through town? But we all know that the two things we can rely on are death and taxes, and the other one is change. There's change happening every second of every minute of every day, whether we acknowledge it or not. And there's no changing change. And then we have this flag representing tunnel at the end of, light at the end of the tunnel. These two younger ones here, they're excited to have someone new coming through town. If you've ever lived in a small town, you'll understand that feeling. Oh, there's someone new in town. Everybody gets all excited. Got to go see what they're about. And then this is talking about systems being trampled. The king has been trampled and his crown is off his head. But this is not talking about an actual king. This is talking about systems that have been changing. Maybe we're seeing cracks in a lot of the systems right now in the governments and just the way things are running in the world in general. There's always, this is showing what needs to change and moving into new ways of doing things possibly. Quite often this can represent even something as simple as maybe your whole life you've always had a hobby and you've just loved doing that, and you knew that you would always love doing that. And then one morning you wake up and you're just like, you know what? I'm done with that. And that's that. And everybody is shocked, and so are you, but you're just no longer interested. You want to put your time into something else. Now, this is talking about feeling left out in the cold. It's a feeling of isolation, not belonging to society, being ostracized from society. There's two people here. One of them is on crutches and he has a plague bell. Now, in the old days, they didn't have apps, so they would have a bell and they would put that around someone's neck. And they would force them to wear it. And it would be a big bell that you could hear when this person was coming into town so that you could avoid him. So that made it a little bit difficult for him to earn a living, get a job, get groceries even, more than likely. And he's traveling with this other person who has no shoes on his feet in the snow. Now, what is that representing is, the snowflakes represent, when it first starts snowing, it's pretty. And then after a while, when the flakes add up, it can add up to a lot of flakes. And if you're shoveling it every day and having to deal with the cold and the miserable, and you don't have shelter, it can get old very quickly. So this is about pentacles, and you notice there's 10 pentacles available in the deck, but we only have 5 here. Pentacles do represent health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D, and of course the money is a big part of that. So the pentacles are represented by coins. But this is really about matters of the earth, and so it's more than just about money, it's about lifestyle. And so money, of course, you need a lot of it these days, but at the same time, you could have all the money in the world, and if you don't have your health and you don't have love in your life, then you are going to probably not be living the lifestyle that you would like to live. And it's a very cruel, when a bunch of flakes get together and they decide to gang up on a individual or individuals in this manner, it's a very cruel undertaking, because human beings have a natural need to have tribe and to fit in. And so this is a huge psychological gaslighting, basically. And then we have this couple here, the king and queen, or sorry, the emperor and the empress. And they're coming out together here. Now, this is really interesting energy. I'm just wondering, what is this about? So we have the empress and the emperor are sort of a status in the major arcana. So the empress and the emperor both represent having reached a very high level of performance. The energy, like they're both from the major arcana, and the queen embodies the qualities of all four. Or sorry, the empress embodies the qualities of all four queens from the minor arcana, and the emperor embodies the qualities of the kings from the minor arcana. And this is kind of, the status is basically from being in the upright and doing things to always be in the process of being the best version of yourself through hardship, whatever that is. Now, this energy, it's interesting because it doesn't seem to fit in with this energy. Although throughout history, there have been times when systems, monarchies, have fallen, and the emperor and empress have been taken down out of their pedestal, fallen off their pedestal. History has several examples of that. So this is representing a high power couple. The emperor is high performance. He's wearing his armor underneath his robe. He's able to grab an opportunity at any moment. The empress is known to be fertile, and they say even pregnant with possibility. And she is in the flow, so she's very good at manifesting. Now, the two of them together represent a power couple. So what is this about with the power couple? Let's keep going and let's see. And who's the lover? Or are these two not a power couple yet, but they're two lovers that have met, and now they're about to become a power couple? And maybe they are representing this energy here, and this is a whole transition from where they were before. Now, that's an interesting reading, isn't it? Because there was a reality check. So the Tower is talking about a major reality check coming in on the power, on this couple. So this could talk about, at one point, something happened here, and this power couple, one power couple that I can think of, like off the bat, is the Romanovs from, the Tsar and Tsarist from the back, I can't remember which century it was or exactly the years that it was, but how they fell and what happened to them. This is the type of energy that this is talking about. So this could be a power couple that is seeing hard times for whatever reason. The Tower is sitting right on them. So the Tower is when your intuition is talking to you and you don't quite hear it. And that's what happened to them, basically. They just didn't even think that it was possible for what had happened to them to happen to them. And by the time they realized how far it had, the discontent in Russia was, by that time it was too late, and it was a horrible story of what happened to them. So this is talking about, yeah, this kind of energy where the intuition is telling you, but you're not listening. So at first it's a whisper, you might want to take a look at that. And then it's like, hey, the frying pan, whack over the head. And you're like, hey, that hurt. And the universe is going, that's nothing. If you don't listen soon, it's going to be way more painful than this. But you still don't get it. And then the 2x4 comes out and you still don't get it. So then lightning hits the tower, the castle's on fire, the people are falling out of it. And one of them is really surprised, and the other one is like, oh no, I should have listened to my intuition sooner. I had a bad feeling. So it's that type of energy. And the problem is when the tower hits, it is, maybe if you nip things in the bud earlier, you might have been able to avoid it, not necessarily all the time. But if you, when the tower hits, it means you have to rebuild. Sometimes that's not such a horrible thing. Sometimes it's not the best. So we're going to see what is going on here in this reading. Look at this. The sun is shining on this situation. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. And we have this again. So what is this about? This is a very different reading. It's random. This is random shift. This isn't usually how the cards come out, like in this end. So God is shining light on what happened here. And it could have been something to do. Okay, so it could have been something to do. First of all, okay, this is the happiest card in the deck. This is representing God's energy. And when this card comes out, it's putting shining light on all the other cards in the reading. So it's talking about having the energy of, happiness coming back into your life after some very difficult times. And so the transition in this card, when the reality check hits, is actually for the better. So that is helpful to be able to see that. So there could have been something that happened here, a major transition that happened. Some systems went down, whatever's going on. And this is sitting on the Empress. So, but God is shining light on the situation that happened to the Empress. And this is talking about her being a child of God then. This is talking about, this young child is riding this pony. And there's zero fear. There's no reins needed. They're on their destined path. This is the banner that they're carrying. That it's very heavy, but they're carrying it with ease. And we have the sunflowers in the background saying that the flowers turn to the sun. The sunflowers. And this is representing staying happy because you're on God's path. So really interesting. Now we have this same energy here. So perhaps this is saying that the Empress, this tower hits and the Empress either this could be her new lover that God sends in to empower her to clean up this tower. Or this could be saying that whatever happens, let's just keep going. Let's see what's going on. This is a different reading. So look at that. This is talking about pre-Empress energy. I feel this is taking us back into the past to say, okay, this is what happened. Some sort of major transition in power occurred, it looks like. And this left the Empress for sure out in the cold. A tower hits, and perhaps the Emperor comes in to rescue her, and this is a new lover for her. He considers her to be at pre-Empress energy, because now this is pre-Empress energy. So this is like saying you haven't learned everything you need to know to become an Empress yet. Maybe you're short the qualities of one of the four queens, and maybe that's the Queen of Swords, because this is about having discernment. So this is talking about the power of the 369 that Nikola Tesla would talk about all the time. Nikola Tesla, the famous inventor and genius, would say if you knew the beauty of the 369, then you would have the key to the universe. And I feel like that's what this falcon is representing. This is about having discernment to know how much and who to invest in, how much of your time, money, and energy to give anyone or anything, and what is the anticipated return. And this is talking about the need to look after yourself first, or you will be in a position where you can't do anything for anyone. So this is talking about, she has her hand on the 6 Pentacles, which is 2/3. And this is, she knows she needs this to pay her bills, to do everything that she needs to do for her businesses, her family, and then some extra in case an emergency happens. Then there's these other 3 Pentacles, which is 1/3 of what she has in total. And maybe one is for a more risky investment that she can put her money into. And if it turns out it's going to really improve her business portfolio, but if not, or her financial portfolio, and if not, it's not going to stop her from being able to pay her bills. It's not going to be that much of a loss. And then we have maybe one for charity and another for saving up for a special occasion or a vacation or something. But this is saying that she goes from whatever happens here, it's almost like she goes from almost being an empress to being left out in the cold. And it's due to some sort of energy that does not, like, this is outside of herself, something that she did not have control over. And but maybe the emperor still sees her as an empress and recognizes this tower has hit. And maybe God sends him in and says, hey, dude, you got to go look after this empress, this pre-empress energy here. She was supposed to be your empress. And this, it went sideways here. She needs your help right now. I don't know. This is a different reading. And so then we have the High Priestess here. And so this is really about using the intuition for this energy coming through. So the High Priestess is someone that is in very strong communion with God, with the Higher Self Network, HSN. This is talking about the High Priestess with the moon. She follows the cycles of the moon, and because she understands that you're at your most intuitive at a full moon or a new moon. She is sitting in between 2 extremes, and there's all this information coming in from both sides. And this is like, information equals energy. So this is 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. But it's so much, it can be very overwhelming to receive so much information. So she has to be able to use her logic and her intuition. She needs to use her intuition to sort through the logical information to choose which of these answers is the best way to move forward at this time. And she's sitting between 2 major extremes because this is representing Jesus and this is representing the devil. So it doesn't get much more extreme than that. Now, look at this. And now this is talking about, this would be her natural energy. That's why she was so close to being an empress, because look at, like, she's sitting on her throne. This is the Queen of Wands. This energy is talking about, having passion for life. This is the element of fire. Her wand is made of wood because it represents, fire. Wood feeds fire, and it also represents the tree of life. It's about having strong roots to your ancestors, and then the offshoots are descendants. So this is talking about generational wealth. Like, if you consider that there's 10 pentacles in the tarot available, 10 would be billionaire, trillionaire energy, and this would be multimillionaire energy. So if something went awry, it could definitely, this is a big drop here. And so what happened? I feel this was something that was not something she did. It was something out of her control. And God is shining light on it and saying she's had to be someone that, her normal disposition is to be happy. That's representing here, like being this child here. It's talking about this exact energy, that she has stayed on her path and she has done her best. And this is interesting too, because it's also saying she doesn't need protection from fire because she sets the tone. And there is, the veil behind her is very similar to this banner that this young child is carrying. And this represents the thin veil between the spiritual realm and the physical. and her ability to be able to use her logic and her intuition to have creative solutions. And this is the little black cat here is representing that she doesn't, a lot of people won't have a black cat because they think that they bring bad luck, but she's not worried about bad luck because she knows that she has a direct communication with the Most High, and that the Most High will always look after her needs. She sets the tone. Really, really interesting energy. So now what's up at the top here? Look at this. So the hangman is talking about hanging from the tree of knowledge to get a better perspective of what's going on. And the hangman hangs there until upside down because he wants to take a look at this from all perspectives. And until his aura shines really bright, that's when he comes down and takes action after communing, and meditating and praying and figuring out, okay, what action should I take? And this energy sometimes can talk about some energy being stuck, and I feel like it's sitting right on this energy. So whatever her destined path is got stuck here. But God is saying that by using her intuition and her logic and using creative solutions, she's going to make it to the top of this pedestal. Very interesting. So we have a transition happening from this to this. She has to use her intuition because she's stuck in this. She has been in communion with God the whole time and doesn't take action unless God says, and this is saying that this is what happened here is part of her destined path. And this reality check, all this energy that's coming in is the final discernment that she needs to learn to become an empress. And maybe that's when the emperor comes in. I don't know. It's a very different couple. This is talking about that energy now. Like now she is at empress status. So then the emperor comes in and they're a couple. And then what happens? We don't know yet. But this is the story up to this point. This is a really different reading. I do hope you're enjoying the tale here. It's pretty clear to me this is what's going on, but why are we hearing only this part? What happens? Maybe we have to do another random shift reading to find out. I'm doing another reading soon after this one for my daily. Maybe it'll come up in the daily reading. I'm going to clarify this with my oracle cards from Tales from the Vector, and we do have this. That's pretty funny. This is an oracle that I started back in 2007, and in 2020 I completed all of the paintings, and the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I've been working on bringing this out, but I'm having a lot of fun playing with the cards, and every time I play with them, there's even more information coming out. So it's pretty cool. I do have on my website some information there, so you can take a look at it. It might give you further clarity as to this situation. This is really really interesting reading. It's almost like going back in time somehow. So we do have the Empress energy saying, yes, this is one of these people is the lover. So then, that would make the Emperor the other one. So that's clarifying that. And then we have, this is talking about survival. And this is talking about having to have a really strong attitude to get what you want. So, if you wish upon a shooting star, that energy means that you haven't got what you're wishing for as of yet. So you're going to have to have a really good attitude to be able to go after it. And then the Chariot is representing an energy of something coming in quick from the spiritual realm. It's already starting to turn. In my oracle, this is a yin-yang ball, basically spinning, and it's talking about having a lot of balance in your life now, and that's what the Chariot represents, being on your path and this is about being balanced in the masculine and feminine energies. And so it's time to make, it's happening on the spiritual and it's coming down to the physical. In traditional tarot, the Chariot can sometimes represent the energy of law enforcement coming in if there was a wrong. And so there could be some sort of energy here regarding that. We have the battle star. This is talking about the solar plexus and making sure you breathe when you're in stressful situations. This is about having the courage to keep moving forward after, having a very difficult time. Staying on your destined path here, regardless of the circumstances, not losing faith in your journey. And that's what has elevated her to the Empress status. The reality check actually was in her favor. She was already at pre-Empress, but she needed to learn discernment. So perhaps she had someone in her life or someone's that caused this fall to happen, because there's degradation of energy here. And this is talking about, human beings are made up of mostly water, like a high percentage of water, about 70%. And yeah, it's like if it's almost like there was degradation of her energy in some way, and it was calculated. That is the type of energy, like muddying up the waters, basically. And so this, I don't know, this is why is the Emperor here? Is the Emperor the hero of the story? Or is the Emperor the bad guy? It's hard to tell, because this is saying, but with the sun coming in here and then this energy, we don't know for sure yet. There's too much. We do have abuse of power here. So, like the Emperor and the Empress are very, they have a lot of power, and especially when they're together, they're a power couple. So this can talk about this energy of degradation of their energy. That's kind of what happened with the Romanovs. There was a lot happening, and they weren't paying attention to it. They had a lot going on at the time. And so this is talking about, some people who have a lot of power. Like this would be definitely, this energy here coming in would be something that would be maybe a group coming together, and they're all very powerful figures. It would be that sort of an energy. And then we have staying on your destined path. Again, so this is saying needing to use your intuition to stay on your destined path for it to work out in the end. This is talking about your guiding star, your north node, your north star energy. So when you're following your north star, that means that you are following your destined path. And you're on a foolhardy journey, which means you're following your heart and following your path. And God, for whatever reason, whatever happened here, I feel it was meant to happen because there was deception. Interesting. Now, where was the deception coming from? Because this is at the top here. So the deception could have been either this deception is talking about the Emperor and the Empress were a power couple, and it looks like the Empress is the one that is on this straight up journey. She's on a foolhardy journey, and this energy here is sitting on the Emperor and on the Tower. So did the Emperor plan to take the Empress down or blame her for something? Or does the Emperor come in to rescue her? And there was definitely deception. And this is like saying, saying there was definitely deception here. And it may have had to do with a lover. Could maybe the Empress had a lover, and the lover took the power couple down? There's a lot, but the Empress this pre-Empress energy was the one that was strong on her journey. So I feel like this could be talking about the Emperor, because it's sitting right on him, and then a reality check comes in, and we're talking about deception right at the top of the scale here. Well, that's kind of sad if this is an energy where, well, basically what this would be saying is that your divine couple there, he decided to go the other way, some sort of energy to deceive his empress. Well, this is kind of a sad tale, but, you know, I guess that's part of life. Sometimes that happens. I'm not sure what to say about this reading, but with my random readings, I always just put them out there anyway, because someone will say, hey, you know, that's exactly what I needed to hear, and it doesn't make sense to me right now, really. It does. I mean, I know this happens. There's lots of times in history where this has happened. But what's the point for us everyday folk here? That's what I want to know. I'll work on this on the title, and I'll see if I can come up with something. But I'm going to put it out there. All right. I do hope that this was empowering for someone. Put it in the comments below if this was, hey, this is my story. I can tell you exactly what happened here. All right. And thank you for your likes and comments and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. It's really helping me build my channel. I will be back with another random reading very soon. Bye for now.